Hey everyone, Thyworm here with the Randomizer Atlas strategy. If you like surprises, this is a video for you. This is mostly a meme video and strategy, but I had lots of fun, which is important in a video game, and I discovered a thing or two as well, which I would like to share. So let's dive in. Here's the situation. I'm at the point in the league where I've completed my first build, pretty much min-maxed it for SSF standards, and I'm just messing around a little bit. I have a few larger videos cooking on game mechanics, but those take much more time. I'm leveling a new character using a Maxroll guide just to see how that works in SSF. And with my main, I'm just blasting maps. I stockpiled more and more maps I couldn't run because they have cannot regenerate on there or other modifiers that are horrible. And I was thinking of an interesting way to make use of those bricked maps, which ultimately led me to the Randomizer Atlas strategy. And yeah, calling this a strategy might be a bit far-fetched, sure. I simply mean that despite it being a little bit silly, I did actually put some thought into this. So now you know how I ended up here. What did I try to achieve actually? Well, I wanted to make the most out of a few Atlas keystones that I feel are underutilized. Primarily Twist of Fate and Overloaded Circuits. By taking these two nodes, you end up with random maps, random league mechanics, tons of item quantity, rarity and pack size, and occasionally completely impossible maps, but hey, these maps were bricked anyway. I'll tell you more in the rest of the video. Let's talk about the prerequisites. You need a bunch of bricked corrupted tier 16 maps, which are typically the result of rolling maps by applying chisels, if you have them, then an Orb of Alchemy and a Val Orb. The maps need to be corrupted, or the Twist of Fate node will not work. Another prerequisite, which is actually quite useful, is a Cast on Death portal setup. Other than that, you don't need anything. Let's talk about how this strategy works. It has a few components. First, there's Twist of Fate, an Atlas keystone that causes any corrupted rare map in the map device, plus any map crafting options applying to them to be modified unpredictably when opened. Maps get 1 to 3 additional random map modifiers, and whatever map device option you pick is also randomized. The vast majority of randomization comes from this, but we got more coming up as well. The results, however, primarily of these added random map modifiers is that maps become incredibly juicy, with sometimes absolutely insane quantity, rarity and pack size. This map, just to show how crazy it can get, has 289 item quantity, 158% rarity and 100% increased pack size, on top of Scarabs providing even more pack size. Clearly, these maps are very deadly, but also a lot of fun. Another interesting aspect of Twist of Fate is that it picks any valid map of the same tier based on the player's current Atlas of Worlds. I have only tier 16 maps available on the Atlas because I have all of the Void Stones, so it can roll literally any map if I put in a tier 16 map, which I do, and I think you should as well. If there are no valid maps on the player's current Atlas, it will result in a random map of the same natural tier. Should you put in a Shaper Guardian map, it will be re-rolled into a random tier 16 map. Twist of Fate can also randomize corrupted blighted maps and blight ravaged maps, which may be useful to salvage these types of maps with bad modifiers like monsters cannot be stunned or monsters' action speed cannot be modified to below base value. It will not change the map's oil anointments. Furthermore, implicit map modifiers are not modified, meaning that, for example, the Val Temple map's area contains 10 additional guarded Val vessels modifiers remain, and you will find 10 Val vessels in your randomly rolled map if you put in a Val Temple. Delirium layers and enchantments are also retained, plus those implicits from Kirak maps. Not to be confused with Kirak missions, but the Kirak maps, you know, the ones that he sells. The second mechanic that we're using is the keystone Overloaded Circuits. This keystone adds 3 random notable Atlas passives for whatever map device option you pick. The beauty here is that this keystone still works with Twist of Fate. While Twist of Fate randomizes your map device option and charges you the original cost, and not the cost of whatever random option it picks, what also happens is that the newly rolled map device option gets 3 notable Atlas passives. This only works if you pick an actual option on the map device. You cannot select the default quantity option, then it doesn't work. So what you do is you pick the cheapest option, which is Anarchy, this league. It costs 4 chaos due to the overloaded circuit, and then Twist of Fate rolls that into something random, and Overloaded Circuits applies 3 notable Atlas passive points to whatever map device option you rolled. To make sure we actually know what it rolled into without having to study the map modifiers, we block all league mechanics on the Atlas tree so we know that if a Sacred Grove pops up, it can only be from the map device random roll. I'm not gonna lie, I felt actually pretty smart after figuring this out, so hence the title. Otherwise, I'm mostly a humble guy. Anyway, for the vast majority of league mechanics, 3 random Atlas passive notables are great. Harbinger only has 3, Essence only 4. And for quite some others like Delirium, Expedition, Abyss, Breach and Ritual, any 3 notables work just fine. I estimate that in 80 or 85% of the options you're going to have a real good time with these notables. Only when it comes to Ultimatum you feel really sad, at least I do, because it sucks. And other mechanics like Legion are kind of meh because without much investment it's not great. Rolling Heist isn't great either. Anything else though, you're going to have a great time. Let's talk about the Atlas passive tree and the choices I made. I explained most of this tree already in the mechanics section, so let's get into the parts I haven't yet talked about. To add a bit more randomness, I have added some Jund nodes, because Betrayal is fun and pretty random as a mechanic. I'm blocking all league mechanics except Delirium, because in these super juicy maps Delirium is just a bonus. I'm opting for parts of certain league mechanics for which I feel it really helps a lot to have these already allocated, meaning I'm taking the completely optional Extreme Archaeology for just 2 points, so you can plant a single bomb in Expedition should you encounter it. I am taking Tamper Proof, so once strong boxes spawn, they are at least rare and corrupted, and also I'm taking Syncretism for the double shrine buffs. I feel Seance works well with the juice, but I suppose it's optional. Singular Focus is there, but you don't have to take this at all. I just favored Jungle Valley and Toxic Sewer for my enjoyment and a bunch of experiments that I'm running. I've included Alpha with Incursion into the strategy as well. The Atlas tree was already around those nodes, so building some more temples, double corrupting some stuff, I think that's fun. And finally, I am sticking to the classics, at least for me, meaning Searing Exarch for all of the currency that it drops and all the bigger map modifier nodes to juice those maps even more, plus some Scarab nodes. Talking about Scarabs, let's talk about those for a little while. You can honestly use whatever Scarab you feel like and have lying around, but I would be wary of a few things. First, all this randomness means that from time to time you cannot complete a map and the infested Scarabs are gone. Next to that, I wouldn't put in Scarabs regarding league mechanics because you're blocking all of them, and the odds of randomly rolling the correct league mechanic to match your Scarabs are very slim. Rather than those Scarabs, I'm using the ones that spawn masters, use influence ones, shrines, pack size, adding monsters, and I'm even using a bunch of fragments for quantity, because why not? Let's talk pros and cons. Pros are up first. 1. It is an excellent use of bricked, corrupted, rare tier 16 maps. 2. These are some of the juiciest maps available in solo self-found for very little investment. 3. It's a viable SSF strategy because you don't care about currency per hour but about fun per hour. And 4. It's very enjoyable, all this randomness, at least I think so. And finally 5. This is a little bit, or actually very much, tinfoil hat theory, but my wormy senses tell me that the Nameless Seer and also things like Calandra's Mirror occur more often in maps with high quantity and rarity. I am seeing this Nameless Seer an awful lot at least with this strategy, which is why my Atlas has scrying all over the place. There are cons too, however. 1. All this randomness means you're going to brick maps from time to time. 2. Related to this, if you have a build that cannot run 10 map modifiers, you're not going to have a great time with this strategy. And 3. Maps are super juicy but also quite difficult, meaning you need a decent build and a cast on death portal setup. I hope you try out this strategy though, let me know what you think, and also let me know if you have any suggestions for this video or for future content. Subscribe and like for more PoE guides. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all, see you soon, bye bye.